Our text, this is going to be really kind of a run through the book of Malachi. But our text, key text, is from Malachi 2:7. The lips of a priest should guard knowledge. Now, Malachi, of course, is the last book of the Old Testament. He may have been last, but certainly he managed to catch the attention of all Israel. Powerful prophecy, powerful book. And there's no Israelite that didn't keep in mind some of the teachings of this great book. Israel somehow always managed to cherish the prophets once they were gone. But when they were living, they always managed to reject them, persecute them, and sometimes even kill them. That's a kind of a phenomena of human nature. When people tell you what you don't want to hear, you don't like it, and you don't like the person that told you it. And so that's the way it was with Israel. And then later on, they would build monuments to the prophets, and they would venerate them, and they would love them and show such affection toward those whom their forefathers had rejected. Historically, Malachi spoke for and represented Jehovah to the Israelites that were returned from Babylon. His prophecy is supposed to have been written during the time when Nehemiah went back to the governor's court, and of course they were absent one strong leader in Israel. And of course, when you have a strong religious leader, it's a good thing. It helps keep people on the straight and narrow way. And so when he was gone, there was a kind of a religious decline. And it was at this point that Malachi stood up and prophesied. And therefore, his prophecy may have served a double purpose. First, to reprove and stimulate the people of that time. And secondly, and much more importantly to us, to give a general lesson applicable all the way down through nearly 20 centuries to our present day. His prophecy is the last one of the canon of the Old Testament and closes with exhortations and promises respecting the coming of the Messiah, for whom the whole Jewish people had waited at that time for more than 15 centuries. Now, Malachi's name means my messenger, or the messenger of Jehovah. And he opens the book in the second verse of Malachi 1:2 with a beautiful testimony from the Lord. 4 words. I have loved you. What a beautiful statement for God to address Israel with through this prophet. I have loved you. And you'd think that would touch their hearts and maybe bring some tears to their eyes and warm their inwards. But it didn't. They turned around and said, how hast thou loved us? We don't seem to feel the warmth of your love. We've been buffeted. We've suffered. We've endured so much. How have you loved us? We're not that comfortable. There's no real visible evidences of that warmth and love and caring that you're talking about. How badly they had misread the dealings of the Lord. They had forgotten that the love of the Lord is often manifested in the chastening. What son is he whom the Father loveth that He chasteneth not. And they forgot this, and somehow they viewed the disciplines of the Lord as the Lord's anger and not His love. And of course, in the exchange, and God justifying His position of His love for them, He said, gave a little lesson. We have to hurry through this. He gave a little story about His dealings with Jacob and Esau, how He loved Jacob and how He hated Esau. And from this we might get the idea that, God really hated Esau and He didn't do what was right by him. But really, that hate, as we properly understand it, means that He loved him less. And we find that not only was God fair to Esau, but He was very kind and very gracious to Esau and the children of Esau. Remember in Deuteronomy 2:4 and 5, when Israel was marching into the promised land, and they neared the land of their kinsman Esau, Edom, and the Lord said to them there, "Take good heed, do not contend with them," that is, the children of Esau, your cousins, "for I will not give you any of their land. No, not so much as for the sole of your foot to tread on." Just get it out of your mind. That's not your land. That is given. Mount Seir has been given to Esau as a possession. Now, this is of someone that God supposedly hated. Esau, the children of Esau. But we see how gracious God was with Esau, even though they sold their heritage for a mess of pottage. But God cared for them no less. And finally, they did not incur the divine displeasure until the children of Esau joined in with Nebuchadnezzar when he came against the children of Israel. They were already being overwhelmed by a mighty host that the Lord had sent upon Israel to punish them. But the Lord looked with great disdain on what Esau did. They joined in with the Babylonians to add to the burden of the Israelites, to kind of spite them, to show their hostility and their animosity. And as soon as they did that, that sounded the death knell of that nation. And God said, "They may build, but I will tear down," Malachi 1:4, "till they are called the wicked country, the people with whom the Lord is angry forever." Oh, it was because of the way they treated their kinsmen, their brethren, that they incurred the final judgment from the Lord to destroy them as a people and nation. Now, I want to say right at the outset, Malachi has something to say for everybody. And he just starts out with different groups, and he goes right on through, and it keeps ascending, really, going up higher and higher, and till it gets to the pinnacle. And so if we keep that in mind, it starts out down here and it keeps going up. Then in chapter 1, verses 6 to 14, God pleads His case against His professed people, Israel. And He confides here how they fail to honor Him, and they fail to reverence Him, and they fail to offer acceptable sacrifices to Him. And they compounded their obtuse course. Not only did they offer the sick and the lame and the things that were abominable they would put on the Lord's altars, but that was only half of it. Then they turned around and they scoffed at the Lord's table. And they said, "Well, the Lord's table is polluted."